Michael, if I might just add some quick historical perspective, and then what'll be fun, I think, is Michael is such a friend of this initiative, and we're going to sort of go after this as a panel, and then we're going to ask for your support and questions as well. This actually began in 2006, and it began with Tom Harkin. We were running up to the Iowa caucuses of January of '08, and we saw in 2006 that the uncounted unemployed women and men in this country for the first time were breaching a 30% cap that had been on every prior recession. In the worst of recessions, the 9 prior recessions as we were running up to them, the uncounted unemployed was never more than a third of the counted. And we breached that early in 2006, so that we knew by Iowa that something dramatic was happening. And that dramatic outcome is we now have 1 woman or man uncounted who's unemployed for every man or woman who is counted. So we have 18.5% real unemployment. We have 29.5 million women and men who aspire to full employment at fair wages, not the 13 or 14 million that the government uses officially. And with Tom's guidance as the senior senator from the state of Iowa in the run-up, we established the first of these task forces. It was called the Horizon Project. The women and men who are named in the press release in this task force, many of them were involved in that initial effort. And it was Tom and others' suggestion that we have legislative prescriptions that were quite precise to create jobs. And as a principal matter, we knew that we were committed as a party and as progressives to pay-go. We knew that we couldn't always impose on the government to cause these initiatives to be undertaken. And so there's always been in the back of our mind for the senator and for the congressman ways that we would pay for all of these initiatives. But let me just follow up on one comment that the senator just made. If hypothetically the Senate and the House tomorrow were to pass $3.2 trillion of cuts, we can prove that 1.8 million additional jobs would be lost almost instantly. So we would be digging the hole just infinitely deeper. Those 29.5 million women and men that we're concerned about would immediately jump to 31.3 million, that fast. So what the senator and the congressman are saying to us is, sure, we as a party are committed to thoughtful cuts. We're also committed to responsible revenue raising. And so we have worked with our leaders on that aspect as well. When the task force was coming together, it almost instantly migrated, and many of my colleagues and Cheryl's and Pat's are here, it instantly migrated to the reality, as Tom has commented and Representative Garamendi, we have to have at least 20 to 25% of women and men in this country making something. We can only survive from bubble to bubble otherwise, and the bubbles kill us. We know that. We know that we cannot persist with this unfair trade balance that we have with China. $260 billion consistently year after year after year in manufactured goods. They have roughly $2.5 trillion accumulated in China. We know what they're doing with it. Work we've done for the Congress and on both the House and the Senate. We now know that 90% of the cost differential between a manufactured good from China and its counterpart here in the United States is accomplished through subsidy. We have pointed way too many fingers at the workers of America and said it's your fault. You're uneducated sufficiently. It is your wages that is causing these problems, and we know that's not the case. It's unfair trade that is destroying this country. We also know that the business community is sitting on its hands. So what the senator was describing and the congressman is they need a framework. They need a framework of policies that induce the behaviors and the outcomes that will restore this economy. We are genuinely at a tipping point here. We're right on the edge of no senator, no member of Congress being able to fix the problems on our behalf soon if something along these lines. And there are 15 prescriptions in the task force report. We're not naive in thinking they're going to be instantly enacted. They were written by our colleagues in a way that they could be if we had enough wherewithal in the Senate and the House together. But they are going to now be out there. The one that is of most moment to me, and we'll spend, Michael, quite a bit of time on it, nobody speaks to it more ably than our two members here, is the National Infrastructure Bank. It needs to be a levered institution. It needs to have what I call leverage. It needs to attack the roughly $3 trillion of decrepit infrastructure we have that not only has forestalled us from full employment, but is making us increasingly uncompetitive in the global economy. We're fully prepared, anxious to see credits come that are thoughtful and responsible to the business community to bring manufacturing back where it belongs. We are partners in the Green Economy Initiative, as you'll read in the report. We're particularly sensitive to the women and men who are 50 and older, who are part of that 29.5 million. Something on the order of 13 million women and men now have been unemployed for more than a year. Again, these numbers you don't see publicly. We think there are at least 8 million, 9 million of them 50 years and older. 5 million of the 29.5 million are young people, half of whom have a BA or a BS, can't find the first job. The other half have a diploma, can't find the first job. You'll see quite a bit of attention paid in both of our initiatives to both. A manufacturing renaissance would be the best thing that could happen to the older worker, and youth employment initiatives for the younger worker. And finally, it's China. China is the dragon in the room. It's not the gorilla. As I said, it cheats, and it cheats every day. We have to have the backbone that we thought we had heard about in the Iowa caucuses of '08, that Representative Garamendi and Senator Harkin speak to more ably than I. To my immediate left is Pat Malloy, one of the genuine experts in this country on China trade policies. Owen Hernstedt from the Machinist was supposed to be up here, but we ran out of chair space. And Owen speaks more ably than I do and anybody else to manufacturing. And then there's Cheryl Sweninger, who sort of ties it all together from an economist point of view. Pat is on the China Commission. Owen, as I said, is with Machinists. And Cheryl is right here at our home, the New America Foundation. So a privilege for all of us. The 20 women and men who helped put this together, thank you for listening to it. Michael, we thank you for your courtesy in introducing it. And certainly it's a privilege, John and Tom, for having you here. And thank God you got out of that floor, Tom.
Killing the bill.
Thanks, Leo. Well, this does